What's up, everybody? It's your Queen Kilo, and this is another episode of Unruly Conception. It's been very long overdue that I do this episode since I kind of just cut it off in the beginning of the first season. I think I give you like 2 or 3 episodes, and then I end up even deleting some of those episodes. I just got very overwhelmed with life. I had a lot of work to do in school. And then the more I kept recording, the more I was learning in school, and I started kind of being hard on myself, like, okay, well, maybe I need to change this and fix that and go over this. And maybe it doesn't matter too much because I only have X amount of listeners right now anyway. So I kind of just let it be. And I really, really feel bad about that because this is like one of my dreams, one of my goals. And I really don't want to let anybody else down, let alone let myself down. So we're going to get in touch with a welcome back episode. And from there, we'll just see how it goes. What I will need you all to do is like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about it, like whatever it is, because that's what motivates me. Like, honestly, nobody wants to keep talking if nobody's listening. I will, but I have so many other things on my plate that I don't have the time to. So I really want to get engaged more with the audience and just people in general. So yeah, take us away with the intro, baby. Unruly, 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 unruly. So yeah, let's see where we're gonna pick off. Basically, when we last talked, I had a couple of friends over. We discussed sex a little bit. We kind of just grazed the topic. And then I had an episode where I interviewed NBE, and their single Fuck the Feds was out. And it was, real interesting listening to that perspective of things. I did a couple more episodes with a couple of other artists, as well as solo episodes. And I just really didn't, I feel like I learned a lot since then. And I was very hard on myself for sure. So what I decided to do was take a break. I took a step back and I wanted to make some changes, whether it be with the look of things or the mission, the overall goal. Everything was kind of like under a microscope for me, and I wanted to make everything so particular. And now I'm realizing that I should have just kept going and evaluated my growth from the outside as I was instructed to do by a couple of people. But sometimes we get a little hard-headed or whatever it is, and I definitely get in my own head. So that's what happened there. Now, since we've been gone, I wanted to express my gratitude for the people that are still keeping up with me on Instagram or any other social media sites. Many of you have probably seen already that I am now engaged. Your girl is a fiance. And I'm into an amazing person. Like, she's like just a great person to be around, and I learned so much from her, and I just really enjoy spending time with her. So you'll probably see more of her soon. And also that I have a almost 6-month-old baby boy named Kyrie Jovan. I named him after my middle name is Curry, named after my great grandmother, my mama Carrie, on my mother's side. But I kind of just wanted to get creative because that's what my mom did with my name. And then Jovan is a combination of Joanne and Vanessa, which are the two matriarchs in two different types of families that I've had the pleasure of living in. Both blood and both very much in touch with their inner woman and with God. And an experience with some of the things that I was going through with trying to conceive this child. So I dedicated that to them. Now, I did not naturally conceive this child, but he is mine, and there's nothing that would convince me otherwise. So it's like I am so excited. I had a good friend of mine carry this baby for me because I do have infertility issues, and I hope to share that on an episode. My only issue was that when I started to record it and I went back to watch it, I got so emotional to the point where it's like, I'm not sure if I'm ready to share that yet. But I'm also slowly easing my way into sharing that story because I've made posts about it, because I'm so grateful. Like, this is most definitely a testimony for me. So I've wanted to share that with people because I've been very close and basically involved in a lot of groups with people, and especially women who are dealing with this type of things. So it was something that I wanted to share, and I didn't want people to feel alone or ashamed or guilty or, heartbroken the way that I felt. I felt all of those things because I've gone through so much with that. So yeah, basically, when I was in my teens, I was in a committed relationship and I ended up getting pregnant. But we were very young and it was kind of like a stressful thing. Like, I don't know how to tell anybody. And even though I kind of felt like I was grown, I had my own apartment and I was like working to pay bills and stuff like that. I was kind of nervous, but I was prepared. I was preparing. And what ended up happening was very unfortunate and ended up to be a series of unfortunate things. So I ended up experiencing a miscarriage, and I wasn't really sure why. I kind of just took it as that was a sign from God, or, you need to get yourself together. You're not married. You're not grown. You're not stable financially. Like, it was really just me feeling like it was an eye opener. And I didn't get the proper treatment that I probably should have at the time. I was just kind of like, I'm going to let it pass and I'm not going to see a doctor. I was kind of ashamed, afraid, nervous. Like, I didn't really know what to do. So I just went on about my life, me and my partner at the time. And then probably a year or so later, I ended up suffering from another miscarriage. And even though I was a little bit older, I think I was about 20, I still didn't know anything about being ready, being a mom, or being, we still weren't in that place. And I was way more stressed because I was dealing with, like, trying to survive. Literally, I was getting in a lot of trouble. At the time, I was doing a long distance thing with my partner, and he kind of just wasn't up for it all. It was just like a bunch of stress just between our relationship and between just in my everyday life. And I don't know if that's like what caused it, but I ended up in the hospital for like a day or so, and I had another miscarriage. And I had no idea I was even pregnant. So I was like, okay, let me get myself together. I tried birth control and it was giving me like heart problems. I was becoming super depressed. It was just obvious that it was not for me. So I stopped taking birth control. Since I was long distance, I wasn't really even trying to have sex or anything. But I don't think that I had the proper care. And I think I had too much trauma in my reproductive system for me to be able to understand at such a young age. So fast forward, now I'm married a couple years later. This is probably I got married in 2013 or 2012. So this is probably like 2014 or 15. And I'm seeing a fertility specialist because now I'm not even getting pregnant. And I'm expressing that I've had these miscarriages before, and I'm starting to Google things. I'm doing my own research because I feel like I'm not getting the results or the answers or anything that I needed from the doctors at that time. So in order to be seen for fertility care, you have to have been trying for at least a year. So I already had that under the bag. So they began investigating immediately, trying to figure out why we couldn't conceive. And they did a sperm test for him, and everything was like great. And then, so I knew it was on me. And my first test was the HSG, which is where they put a dye into your uterus, or yeah, I believe they shoot it into your uterus, and it comes out through the fallopian tubes, and to check and see if they're blocked. So the first time I had mine done was when we had first got married, and I was told that I had one blocked tube. It could have been from infection, or she said STI, or anything, any type of trauma, but I hadn't had any STIs, and I had been getting checked very often, just because that's just how I've always been. And I only thing I could think of was like untreated miscarriages or trauma to my womb due to sexual assault in the past. So I was like seriously confused. So they put me on a couple of hormonal medications and things like to prepare for IUI, which is an intrauterine insemination, where they basically take the sperm and put it in a syringe and shoot it into your cervix, to impregnate you. I had 3 of these, no pregnancies after that. So I was confused, and I was even more stressed out. So I'm going to the doctor, and now the doctor's confused, and they're like, okay, well, what now? And this was, now I'm in Hawaii, and they had like a teaching school there at Tripler, where there's a lot of doctors going through residency. So they're willing to take on a lot of different things. So they were trying to figure out what was wrong with me too. I was being tested for everything. Like, I had no idea. I was going to the fertility specialist at least like once every 2 weeks. Maybe it started becoming weekly because I had to get a lot of different tests done. And then I eventually ended up having surgery because they discovered I had polyps in my uterus, or intrauterine polyps. And when they did that, it was a polypectomy. Please don't laugh at me for chopping up these names. I am not a medical professional, and I have never been. I just know these names because of my own personal research and then also having them done. So I had a polypectomy where they removed polyps, and they also, during that surgery, did a laparoscopy where they cut a little hole beside my belly button and put a camera in to see what was like going on. And they did a D&C where they could clear out basically what they do after miscarriages, which was my first D&C, which was kind of disappointing because I had like 3 miscarriages before that, and I had never had one done. So it kind of had me wondering, had I caused some of these things to myself? Or, there was really no answers. But the result from from both of those procedures was that I did have 2 blocked fallopian tubes now, and they were filled with a liquid called hydrosalpinx, or that's the name of the actual condition, where your fallopian tubes basically look sausage-like they have little knots in them, like little links, and they have a fluid in them that will kill an embryo or a zygote or whatever it is called before it is an actual baby. It will kill that and cause me to have a miscarriage. And so basically I could not get pregnant naturally. There was like a 2% chance. And the doctor suggested that I get those fallopian tubes cut out. And for me, that was just a bit extreme. Like, I decided to take matters in my own hands and try to do some natural remedies. There was a lot of different groups I was in on social media, but mostly Facebook, where there were people who were dealing with the same things, different type of infertility issues, and there were a lot of remedies for that, and there were people with these like miracles. I didn't want to like give up on my reproductive system. I didn't want to give up on the thought of naturally conceiving. I didn't want to get my fallopian tubes tied, cut, clipped, and burned and just give up all hope. And that's where I was with it mentally. So I told them, give me a couple of months and I would try to figure it out. Now, I was doing some natural and herbal remedies. Like there was one where you put castor oil on your stomach in a heating pad, and it kind of opens up the fallopian tubes naturally, slowly. And then there were like different yoni steams and balls, things that were supposed to like get rid of all those bad toxins. And in the midst of doing those things, I discovered like an herbalist who claimed to have a lot of success with my area and infertility, and that she had good backup stories, testimonies, and it was just everything. It sounded like everything that I needed. I was desperate at the time. And I still believe that those things are possible, but I was scammed. In short, I was scammed. I sent her money to help me with a lot of things that I had been trying to do myself because I wanted more professional assistance. And I ended up getting scammed. And child, let me tell you, there was a whole nother group on Facebook called People Who've Been Scammed by Her. And like, there was hundreds of people. She was really just preying on infertile couples or people who were trying to conceive, and they were desperate, trying to do anything. They didn't want to listen to Western medicine. They wanted to do things naturally. And she preyed on them. She preyed on us, and I'm sure she got thousands of dollars, but it was just like a very low point in my life. It was that moment that I realized that I felt weak. Like, I felt not only like I was unable to do the one thing that, even though I don't believe this, but at the time it felt like the one thing that I was meant to be here on earth to do, and that was to bear children and to procreate. It had me feeling like I was weak for trying different things or being so desperate to get some type of outcome that I couldn't even focus on my everyday life. I went from obsessed, doing research every single day, talking about it every day, trying to get something done, trying my own remedies, trying different like positions, trying different things. I know I wore my partner at the time out mentally because, like, how could you not? It was just too much. But I was obsessed, and it's almost like when I feel like I'm incapable of doing something, I want to do it even more. And that's what really made me realize that it was an obsession. So I after that, I just took a step back. I didn't go back to get the IVF. I went through the entire process. And now keep in mind, I had to do hormones because they already knew that one of my fallopian tubes was blocked. And they didn't know if I was ovulating regularly. So I had to go in, I had to fast. I had to get blood drawn consistently. I had to do pelvic exams consistently. Pap smears were like back to back. I had ultrasounds every other day, it seemed. And I felt like a lab rat but I was willing to do it because I wanted answers and I wanted a baby. So I was letting them put like all type of hormone medication in me, everything against what I believed in. And it kind of made me feel like I had been taken over. So yeah, after that, I took a step back. I decided, what God has for me is for me. I'll keep eating clean, or making sure that I take care of my reproductive health and take vitamins or whatever I have to do. But I didn't want to rush it, and I didn't want to try to force it. I didn't want to force anything. Like, I just decided that I was being too aggressive and it was time to take a step back. Because it was taking a toll on my body. When your hormones are going up and down like that, I was breaking down, like having panic attacks about things. I was crying because little things weren't going my way. I was throwing up consistently because of the medication. I was just basically having all of the symptoms of a pregnant woman without the baby. And then I had to put needles into my belly. I had to go in to get blood work consistently. I had to do my temperature back at home. I took so many pregnancy tests, ovulation tests. I was just overwhelmed. So I took a step back. Fast forward a little bit further, me and that partner of mine got a divorce. We're still really good friends, but it's become very clear that we're not going to have children anymore. And then not only that, but my next partner is a woman. And everyone knows that you cannot biologically procreate with the same sex. So I was going through a phase where I wasn't even sure if this was something I wanted to do. And I was also transitioning out of the military. It was just like so many different changes for me. It's not like I had given up, but I kind of just, I was just coasting with it. Because I was tired of getting my heart broken over and over again about it. I was tired of obsessing over it. I was tired of feeling depressed about it. Now, I've never been envious of other people because during that time, I've been to several baby showers. I've even coordinated a couple myself. I've held hands with people who gave birth. I've held hands with people who decided to get an abortion instead. Like, I know that God had his own plan for me. So the last thing I wanted to do was envy someone else for their blessing. Because to me, that's blocking my blessings. And I felt like that would probably be the next step for me when I took that step back. So, yeah, I took that step back, and I had, once I got settled in outside of the military, I had appointments to continue treatment and to see what the next step is for me. And I just had this calling that I didn't want to do it. Like, I just told them, like, the day I had the appointment, I called and canceled and was like, something just came up. And it kind of upset my girlfriend because she was, hearing how hard I struggled. She heard the pain, she heard the excitement, she heard everything about me being a mother, and kind of didn't understand how I transitioned and changed my mind so fast. I didn't understand how I changed my mind so fast. But let me tell you, right after that, a very, very good friend of mine had agreed to carry a baby for me. And I've had friends in the past offer, I've even had family members in the past offer to carry a baby for me. And I always wanted to, take them up on that offer, but I kind of never felt like it was the right time or the right place, or I didn't want to be a burden or anything. But this blessing just happened on perfect timing, and it helped me understand why God moves the way he does and how he uses people the way he does. This woman was a vessel for me, and it was like a blessing to even be a part of such a testimony so strong. And then to be on the receiving end was even like mind-blowing. I was still in shock. So, yes, as soon as we found out she was pregnant, we started going to the appointments. Every single appointment, I was like super, super excited. This was, it almost felt unreal still. So, Fast forward to now, I have a adorable 6-month old, and he's a boy. His name is Kari, like I said earlier. And the process is just not stopping. I haven't given up on carrying my own child. I believe I'm next. We have a, we have a little agenda, my fiance and we plan to do things very fast because time is ticking, and we're at a good place where we can handle these type of things. So I'm hoping that this journey to motherhood is everything that I hoped it would be. And let me tell you, I've had those nights where I've been crying because this is so hard, or I couldn't sleep. I was sleep deprived. I haven't been able to take a shower, or I haven't been able to do my homework. Now I'm falling behind on grades, or I'm worrying that I can't sleep at night. Like, I've had all of those struggles, and I still would not take it back. I'm still very, very, very much in love with motherhood and the child that I have been blessed with. I'm very grateful for the vessel, also known as the birth mother. I call her baby mama, for everything that she's contributed to me and my family. And I'm so grateful for my family for accepting and enduring this journey with me. And more than grateful for my partner, who has been in this thing with me like from the very beginning. And we're just coasting. Well, we're not really coasting anymore. We're actually live in action right now with it. It's like we feel like you got to move. So we're learning so much at a very fast pace. But I think we're at a place where we can handle those things. We can adjust, and everything is going very smoothly. I'm so grateful that God has blessed me with this beautiful boy. And I can't wait to continue to build my family. I can't wait to build my growth as an individual, and just see where things go in general. I am now the episode the episode that I had before was less exciting. It was more tears, and I was really just in a very heartbreaking place, like still in shock almost. But like I said, this was also before my son was born, and he's been a light for everything that I've done thus far, and a motivation. And y'all, I just can't even explain. So I decided to replace that down episode with an upper episode, because I watched that episode 3 times, y'all, and I cried 3 times. And I don't want this to be that. Now, granted, I'm a crybaby, and y'all gonna see me cry a lot on these episodes, but listen to me when I tell you, I am not ready to break y'all down the way that I've been broken down in life. I think that it's necessary to ease my story in there, and kind of just grow with each other. Like, the audience will grow with me, I will grow with you all, and then we'll get to know each other a little better. Well, basically, y'all get to know me, but I want to be able to be that light. So, like I was saying before, I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed. Life has really made a 360 in my life. And I feel like there is nothing, I feel unstoppable. So, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for being a part of this journey with me. Thank you for watching the pictures or the stories, or just waiting along with me. Just thank you. Thank you. We are extended family in my eyes. And of course, I'm going to keep dropping pictures of y'all nephew, because Y'all being very aggressive in my inbox, like, we want to see the baby. Where is he? And then, like, when people call me, they don't want to talk to me no more. Or when I go places, they don't want to see me if I don't have him. Or, he's the star of everything everywhere I go right now. So I'm letting him do that because, I can't always be the Beyonce of the family. But no, I'm just excited to have this new aspect of my life being broadcasted with you all. And even though my life is not perfect, it's come a very, very far, a very long way. And I think that we have a lot to learn from each other. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, pass it on, tell a friend, tell them whatever you got to do to bring your ass back here next time I have an episode. And make sure y'all take care of yourselves. All right. Bye.